Hi, I'm Michelle Ramon. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining. So my discussion disappeared. I mean, it never uploaded. So I was just talking about like, don't take things personal because of COVID. There's a lot of domestic violence. There's a lot of um, angry people in the world that don't want to wear a mask because people are already wearing a mask. There's fake friends wearing a mask that they're your friends and really like hating on you on the low and claiming that they love you, but they would just like stab you in the back or claim that you're like them or, you know, double standard type of stuff. Like, you know, they can run around and do whatever they want and then try to give you a bad reputation. And it's like, I don't have a bad reputation. I'm highly respected in the Christian community, and God highly favors his children, and he's not going to allow his children to be attacked, their character of who they really are. And I was describing how, growing up, I was the beat toy of the family. And even later, as I grew older, people would try to um, abuse me, like verbally or emotionally, or expect me to lose my mind because they would neglect me and they black sheeped me when my kids got illegally taken and didn't even get them out of custody. And it's been a really bad battle for me to deal with that, where my mom gets to see the kids more than me. And then when I wanted to see them for Christmas, nobody bothered. And, like I studied narcissism, and there's people that have NPD, which is narcissist personality disorder. And they go into a child mentality and they're not adults. And so they don't act mature, or they'll try to start an argument with you because they're intimidated about you. There's something about you that they're jealous of. And we have haters in our own family that we don't know about. I mean, one of my so-called best friends um, was secretly hating on me, and I never knew that she didn't like me, and she was gossiping. And that was a long time ago. But then now I find it hard to make friends with women. I only have male friends because I don't trust them. I don't like how everything is a competition and you can't be nice to them or do anything for them, because when you do give your heart and you try to be their friend, they backstab you some type of way, and or they're jealous of you because they always want to be in some type of competition. And it's like, even your own family members, it's like they're competing over attention that they didn't get when they were a child. And it's like, okay, well, we all need therapy, but then you're going to try to portray somebody else as needing more therapy than you. And it's like, no, yeah, maybe because I don't have a support system, but I have God in my life. And I used to spend the night at my boyfriend's house sometimes because his family would take me to church, so I would just crash over there. And later down the road, I found out he was a big cheater. But yeah, so, you know, I never cheated on him. Like, I got raped in high school, but that's not really cheating. And then later down the road, I told him about it. He's like, oh, I would have beat that guy's ass if you would have told me. And it's like, yeah, but I was embarrassed about it. Like, I got taken to Ganesha Hills. It was like way at the top. And, and then I had mental health issues from, being in a dysfunctional family. But my family spoiled me, yes. I was a very spoiled child. We used to get rides in a limousine because my dad had his own limousine company. And people used to always say, oh, you're rich, you're rich. But we were not rich. My dad was just trying to survive and take care of us. And that was the best he could do. And he was a good father. And he's still a good father. I will never say nothing bad about my dad. Um, and, a lot of stuff that he did was because he didn't know he had PTSD. And PTSD is like a really bad thing. I have it right now because I had to watch my kids get chased by sheriffs, and they were terrorizing me everywhere I go. They were like stalking me. They were there and they were just like harassing me. And I was left with severe mental damage from that. And that's why I'm going to have to take it to a federal court, even if I have to post up in Santa Clara County again. And they have like court liaisons that will help you to do a federal lawsuit. So I'm not tripping because justice is going to prevail even if the FBI doesn't help me. So they take something that you say and they over dramatize it, or they just wanted the kids for the money because they stole over 50 grand of social security checks behind fraud. And they can't prove anything. They can't prove abuse or neglect, and they can't falsely accuse you either. They can't allege just because in the past you had mental health issues. They can't allege anything. They have to actually have cold con- concrete facts. That's why I told them, arrest me then. If you're going to take my kids, take me. And they didn't want to because there was nothing there. They conjured up a scene at the school where we were brutalized. I got yelled at by a sheriff. They yelled at me over the phone. That's intimidation. And then they also chased my kids with sheriffs and expelled my daughter just for having a pee accident that the social workers gave her emotional disturbances and tried to blame me for the emotional disturbances because they kept harassing them at school, kidnapping them for the weekend. And when I got my kids back, they were screaming. So something could have happened to my daughters. They could have put them in a bad foster home. They could have got raped. And I'm very upset. And there's no justice and there's no family support on that. So that's why I'm saying don't take things personal, because we are all going through so many bad things, not because of COVID, but because, they're attacking people for being minorities. They're attacking people for religious persecution. And then, there's no justice for if you're disabled and you try to get justice. They left me and Desiree gravely disabled. And Diamond has suffered PTSD and anxiety. And she cried all day and I cried all day from morning to night. And that's severe emotional trauma. And they're getting away with it. They're not supposed to ever injure a child. And they forced my daughter on a 5150 hold. There was complications and her blood pressure dropped. And she said something happened to her breathing and for me to call the police. And when I called the police, their dirty county didn't even go to her bedside. So, and I found out that it's the most corrupted county in the whole world, according to the internet. So you can't get no justice for the police. You can't get no justice from the district attorney or the board of supervisors. Mike Wasserman, don't vote for him. He's a piece of crap. He hasn't done nothing to defend me or my kids. So, yeah, Santa Cricket County. And I will send this to the news and the media, but they don't really do anything because they're just as bad. I guess they just want to, they're scared or whatever because of Nancy Schaefer. She was going against CPS and there was a double homicide. So when you try to put them on blast, and me and my kids have had terrible nightmares. So that just shows trauma. I've taken signs of illness. I'm a child care worker. I've taken first aid CPR, and I was AED trained, and I was bonded by the FBI in California, and it took an oath of office, which the police can't even uphold their oath of office. They're supposed to abide by your constitutional rights, and they're all crooked, and they do corruption, and they kill people illegally, and they try to get away with brutalizing the public. If you're a minority, they get away with it. So we just need to pray for justice for our country and for minorities in general, that there will be justice for us. There should be like Mexican lives matter. All lives matter. But if you're a minority, you can't really say that. It's like there are black on black crimes and there's minorities that hate other minorities. But we should all come together and fight the people who are really the government, the corruption of the government. So why be against another minority? That's the wrong thing to do. So, I don't agree with that. I think that we all need to come together and fight corruption, public corruption and injustice, and people that are injuring children but call themselves CPS. They're crooked and evil, and they will stand before the judgment seat of Christ. And I pray that justice prevails for Desi and Dia and for me and for other disabled people that they brutalized and they robbed, and they did conspiracy to defraud the federal government and to commit state fraud. That's what they're doing. And they're trying to get away with it. It's a white collar crime and organized crime.